Welcome everybody to Wednesday night USL Championship Soccer on ESPN Plus. A gorgeous evening for the game in one of the best arenas in America, Red Bull Arena. New York Red Bulls 2 hosting Loudoun United. David Goss and Connor Lade on the call for you. And Connor, you look at two teams coming into this that really need a win here tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah, Loudoun, they've been looking for a bounce-back game here. They feel like they can get a good result against a team that they've had success in the past in Red Bulls 2. Tough team to play, but they've found some success in the past. And Red Bull, they're looking for a bounce-back as well here. A tough loss to Pittsburgh and looking to right the ship at home. New York Red Bulls 2 on the road for back-to-back losses last week against Philadelphia 2 and then being blown off the field by the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. You mentioned Loudoun United looking for a win, and the man they're hoping to lead them there, Elvis Amo. Yeah, Elvis Amo, 2 goals on the year so far, has been an offensive spark for them. They're going to lean on his experience against Red Bulls 2. Obviously, he had a goal last year against them, so they're going to lean on his experience, and hopefully he can lead them to victory today. And should be in a little more comfortable position with some changes to the lineup. We'll look at that in just a moment. On the flip side, for New York, you got to say it's the rookie, Caden Clark, who has been phenomenal in his first year of professional soccer. Yeah, Caden Clark's been a bright spot for this New York team. A prize prospect in this academy. A lot of responsibility has been put on his shoulders, but Coach Wolenek thinks he's held himself well, and they've been very impressed in what he's done so far this year, and they're looking for him to be a big part of this team moving forward. About 2 weeks ago, he'd never played a professional soccer game, playing as the number 10 for the 6th straight game, coming up here at Red Bull Arena in just a moment. It's going to be a good one. 2 young teams, a lot of attacking talent. We expect to see a lot of fireworks here on the field. We'll be back in just a moment with your first half action here on ESPN+.
Kickoff, go. FIL, go. Go. GPS, go. 15 seconds. Guidance, switch to internal.
Come on, hurry up. All systems go.
5, 4, 3, 2, and lift off.
Audi e-tron, the next frontier of electric.
If you want to start something, or make some noise, if you want to change the world, or just how you see it, if you want to light up the dark, or own the moment, if you want to stay ahead of the curve, or take it right to the edge, there's nothing stopping you.
It's been a while since we shared those last moments at home, and a lot has changed. The world shut down. We found ourselves lost, but we found a way. Our heroes kept us in the game, and our community came together like never before. This beautiful game will continue to provide us the strength to keep moving forward.
Some very strong young men out there on the field during the national anthem, taking a knee. The Black Lives Matter, something we will not forget. Let's take a look at the game we're getting into here, Connor, for Loudoun United. A couple changes different than what we've seen in the first few games.
Yeah, some new attacking pieces for Coach Martin and Loudoun United, and I feel this is the most complete roster they've had all year, and they're excited about Mustafa and Indoor starting together.
And for New York Red Bulls, too, a lot of similarities, but one new name in the starting lineup, Dumitra Torre.
Yeah, Torre inserted the lineup after a couple strong substitute performances. scored the lone goal in Pittsburgh in OT, and they are going to look for an attacking spark here tonight through him.
Dantuma Torre, the young academy player, as Connor mentions. Head coach for New York Red Bulls 2, John Wolyniec, the only head coach in New York Red Bull 2 history, and him and Coach Martin don't know each other very well, but Coach Martin talked about the project and the things Coach Wolyniec's done in this New York Red Bull 2 team for him and his Loudoun team to sort of look towards and try and build towards.
Yeah, definitely a lot of respect between the two. Obviously, two sides, and so they have a lot of respect and a lot of pride in what they're each doing, and I think it will be a good matchup here today.
Jeremy Shearer, head official, Zeno Cho, and Tyler Rostek, his two assistant referees for this match as we are ready to go. Loudoun United in their road red kits with the white sash going left to right on your monitor. New York Red Bulls 2 in their home black kits with their white shoulders. One of the nicest looking uniforms we've seen at Red Bull Arena in quite a while as we are kicked off here for USL Championship action. That ball goes bounding out. We talked about it at the Open, but these are condensed weeks for these teams. Both of these are teams that are coming up with condensed weeks. But for New York Red Bulls 2, it went from bad to worse last week. A surprise loss, you have to say, to Philadelphia Union 2. An odd evening. They fired their coach an hour before the game. Philadelphia scored 19 seconds into that game. And then New York went to Pittsburgh and only compounded it, giving up a penalty a minute and a half into the game. And it just felt like it went from bad to worse very quickly.
Yeah, I think the one trend that you could see for Coach Wolyniec that he mentioned is early goals that they've given up, and they've put themselves in holes in some of these games. And so, you can chalk it up to it being a young group, but that lack of concentration and sharpness, it was disturbing for him. And he mentioned he had some strong words for this team. He drew a line in the sand and said, this isn't good enough. So you'll hopefully see a strong start for them, or at least Coach Wolyniec hopes so.
And interesting to see Wallace Lapsley, starting goalkeeper for New York, choose to not go short and go long on that goal kick, as if to say, I don't want to make the same mistake a week later.
Yeah, playing it safe off the start. I think as a goalkeeper and as a head coach, I think you'll be just fine with that.
Torre all out on the press here to start this game as Loudoun looks to build through it. Joe Falla getting the start alongside Preston Kilwine at center back due to the injury right now to Roy Boateng. A cut to his head, so he can't play because he can't head the ball, and he doesn't want it to get worse. But for a guy who had serious injuries last year, at least he's healthy.
Yeah, I think all things considered, being out, he'll be okay with a short stint out. Although, in my day, I don't know if I was a old guy and it's tougher than these young guys, but just wrap that head and keep going. But it must have been a bad cut, so we're hoping that gets better pretty quick. If
John Wolyniec says you have to be out for a head cut, then you have to be out, because he was heading just straight into the post half the time as well. On the flip side for Loudoun, this is a young team, a group that's had a really hard time coming together. They've had players who are still in quarantine getting back to the United States during this COVID-19 pandemic. They had players that they thought they'd rely on who went down to Florida with DC United, and they've got players everywhere else. It seems like 2 away trips to Hartford to start this restart, which is as tough as it gets in this group. For them, this feels like a breath of fresh air, a chance to get a win.
Yeah, like we mentioned in the opener, they were able to crack Red Bull 2's code last year, and so they feel that they could have some success again here today, as you see a strong challenge from Endor. But I think that this is going to be a good side, because a lot of these players are familiar with each other. A lot of young players who have played against each other with the DC United system and the Red Bull system. So it should be exciting. 2 systems playing against each other, and we should have a good game on our hands tonight.
Torre with the flick on. Jay on the outside trying to get by the first defender. Good support and held there. Shane Wheat coming over to clean up just behind Alexon Saravia. Getting the start at right back in this game. Jacob Green swapping wings to go over to left back for this matchup. Jay trying to go to work again. And it's cleared away. 7-3 game to close the year last year. Loudoun United victory over New York Red Bulls 2. It was 3-1 victory for Loudoun in the first matchup early in the season before Ryan Martin had taken over as coach of Loudoun United, when Richie Williams was still the coach in the first ever season for Loudoun. So We said success. 10 goals in 2 games. That's success. We expect to see that here as well. I think Wally said it could have been 8-7 in that second game.
Yeah, you know, he had some choice words for the performance that they put on the field that day. You know, we can pick some better words. They got their butts handed to them that day for our young listeners. But, yeah, I think anytime as a competitor you want to right those wrongs. Obviously, for those people on Red Bull 2 who have played in that game, they've got a grudge to hold, or that they've been holding for a while, so they're going to try to right that today.
Torre on the run here. Ping pong falling out to him. A chance for Torre in his first ever start, and it's knocked away. Beautiful tackle there from Mel.
Great tackle from Mel. This is what they want from Torre. They want to get him in space, use his pace. But then again, when talking to John in the lead up to this game, he wants him to make the right decisions. He had El Ney making a good run through the box, chose to do it himself, and so it's just going to be part of the maturation process for him, whether to make that right decision. And, you know, he chose to do it himself, and for a young guy, you like that confidence. So we'll see what he can do.
Lemma with the corner kick taken low, knocked on by Elney. Chris Lemma and John Tolkien, the 2 players from the MLS group, who after the MLS is Back tournament have come and joined this New York Red Bull 2 team. Of course, Kyle Zayats, the captain of this team, out for the season with a foot injury. So our best wishes go out to him in his recovery. Chris Lemma now taking over that captain's armband, serves this one in, drops in the box. No one gets a touch to it. It's going to roll all the way through and go out for a goal kick.
Great ball in there from Lemma. You know what kind of quality you're going to get on the set pieces with that left foot. And obviously a big hole to fill there with Kyle Zayats. And like you mentioned, we hope he gets better quickly. But I think that they're happy that they can fill that void with a person like Chris Lemma, who is tying the all-time appearance stat tonight here for Red Bull 2. He's tying Jared Stroud. And so the armband is on experienced leader. They're going to lean on his leadership and his experience, and hopefully he will be able to drive this team on to continue going up this year.
And one of the things I hadn't considered that Coach Wolonek mentioned was, while Lemma was with the MLS team training at a high level, he didn't actually play in any games. So he wasn't really maybe 100% match ready when he got into the game. Ball played in here, amazing opportunity. And the leading scorer, Mo, puts it just over the crossbar.
What a ball in here from Saravia. Incredible ball in. Puts it on a plate for Mo and just puts it over the top. We can take a look at the replay. Beautiful bended ball. Mo just opens up the left foot and can't guide it on frame. But another scary moment for Red Bull fans there. Would have been another early goal. And we mentioned Loudoun looking for a bounce back here, and they look like they came ready to play today. And
that's one of the things Loudoun gets with Mo playing deeper, to make that run out of midfield instead of being the center forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Dynamic option going forward. Obviously, a guy from that 6 or 8 role can hurt you going forward.
Endor with the back heel to Mo. 1v1 now with Fala. Fala trying to guide that one out. Cleaned up and played out of bounds by Edelman. No Roy Boateng, as we said, so Joe Fala and Preston Kilwine partnering in that center back spot. Boateng had started every game of the season up until this point, and he has been one of the rocks for this team.
Absolutely. Roy's been a big leader for this team, so they'll miss that tonight. But it's interesting. You replace one big center back and get an even bigger one. So they have no shortage of big center backs with this Red Bull 2 team.
Wheat chases that one down. And now a chance for Colin Miller, who's played every minute in goal so far this season for Loudoun United, who floats that one out, but does take a touch off of Rito. Mo with the turnover, intercepted by Elney. Elney had a big goal to tie it up against Philadelphia 2 in the first half last week. New York Red Bulls 2 actually took a 2-1 lead in that game before falling 3-2 on the road, as Gamble chases this one down to the corner. Gamble able to keep it in, and Rito goes sliding about 10 yards.
Never a dull moment, Rito. you know, even on a tackle, he's going to bring some flair to it. So you expect it in the offensive third, but you know you're going to get in the defensive third as well.
An electric fullback, Edgardo Rito, in his second year in the United States, recovered from a big injury and has finally gotten fully back to fitness. Jacob Green here at left back for Loudoun, one of the many exciting young academy pieces in this team. Nelson Martinez, in his first year on a pro contract, was an academy loanee last year, getting the start in central midfield. And Ted Pietro, another big addition from that DC academy that Ryan Martin ran, and he's more familiar with those guys than some of the other fully professionals in the group.
Yeah, absolutely. Having a academy director for DC United, he's familiar with a ton of this group, has worked with many of these players, even some other players in I believe Gamble, who he recruited to Wake Forest. So he's familiar with a ton of these guys, has worked with them, knows their tendencies, and knows how to coach them. So he's comfortable with this group and excited with the depth of the roster he has now.
Dangerous turnover here. Kilwine knocks it away. Martin ended up being the head assistant, head of recruiting for Jay Vidovich, one of the names in college soccer, including helping win a national championship at Wake Forest. Went over and worked for the Columbus Crew for just a few months, but he said it was one of the highlight experiences, one of the bigger imprint experiences he's had as a coach, working under Greg Berhalter for that short time, and then helped create FC Cincinnati with John Harkes, who hit immediate success in the USL Championship.
Yeah, it's been a part of some awesome adventures in the game. Big tackle there from Fowler. I think Loudoun's a little upset they didn't get the foul there, but Coach Martin's had been working with some great coaches, and obviously I think a lot of that has rubbed off, and he's going to try to recreate a lot of those lessons that he's learned along the way and put that into his side. Also,
his dad, Jay, who is coach of Ohio Wesleyan, 723 career college soccer wins, all-time in NCAA history. He also was lacrosse coach for 8 years, so you can add those wins to the 723 if you want. Pretty impressive, and that's where Ryan played his college soccer before going pro.
I mean, yeah, you work with Jay Vidovich and Greg Berhalter and John Harkes, but at the end of the day, all he needs to just go home and talk to Dad, and I think that's it probably rubbed off on him the most. So I think there's a lot of great success in his coaching career here, and so definitely a big shoes to fill.
And don't forget, fans, you don't want to miss an action of USL Championship in 2020. Sign up today and get alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for New York Red Bulls 2 or Loudoun United and click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on New York Red Bulls 2 and Loudoun's next matches. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. USL Championship rolling on here. It felt like the first week and a half, with every team playing 2 to 3 games at times. It took a little while, but now it feels like all the teams are starting to get back to the place where you want to watch the soccer that they can play and they can really show who they are.
Absolutely, and I don't think anyone more than Loudoun. They had 3 games and with such long stretches between, and now they've got 4 games in very quick succession. So we talked to Coach Martin about building a rhythm with long stretches between games, and it's not easy as a coach. You have some inter-squad scrimmages, but the one silver lining he mentioned was getting guys healthy, getting guys who maybe some new additions through that self-quarantine process. And so, as we mentioned, most complete feel of the roster that they've had so far. And so it's an exciting time for them, and they're hoping to build some momentum here.
And a strong performance so far. Opportunity here for a Mustafa. Pulls it back, and a chance there, and Endor puts it into the upper deck. He got a ton of power on it, just didn't have the direction.
Yeah, Mustafa does so well to set up Endor there. Endor just tried to roof it and got too much of it. I think could have done with a little bit more composure there, but great setup by Mustafa.
This is what we expected to see, an open game. Gamble coming in field, trying to get the shot away, pulls it back for a Mo, and he can't get his foot around that one. But this was what we saw last year, 3-1 and 7-3, and it's continued on here in 2020.
Absolutely. Loudoun's on the front foot right now. Red Bull 2 needs to take a little deep breath. You can see John down there on the sideline doesn't look too happy, but I'm sure Ryan Martin is exciting with how his team has started, and I think as we mentioned, they came ready to play, and looks like there's a lot of goals in this one.
Wallace Lapsley, it's been a tough couple weeks for him. The goal against Hartford here at home, and the loss off the opposing team's corner kick that went full field basically over his head, and then the mistake early on against Philadelphia Union 2. Potential here for an early goal again, this time for Loudoun. Lapsley puts a hand on it, back pocket, and that's going to be a red card. So for the third game in a row, catastrophe early on for New York Red Bulls too. They are not down yet on the scoreboard, but they are down a man as Wallace Lapsley is shown a red card.
I think that was the curse of the commentator there. I mean, yeah, we mentioned it.
I think a lot of people get blamed before I do in what just happened.
Tough moment there for Lapsley. I think, looking at the end of this game, if they can get out of here with the result, I think he'll be just fine with this. But, to play a long time with a man down, it's never going to be easy. A miscommunication from Fall and Kilwine put him in a tough spot. Does try, everything he can to make himself big and gets his hand on it. So it's a deserving red card, but we'll see how John makes some adjustments here going forward.
And I don't know what Sebastian Elney is arguing here, but we'd already seen a few moments in these first 15. We said Roy Boateng has started every game. Kilwine and Fala on different lines. We saw Fala try to get Gamble offside before, and Kilwine a little bit farther behind the play. So you saw that lack of comfort there, and it really came out big here as we take a look at the mistake.
Yeah, the ball squirts through. Endor puts it around Lapsley. Lapsley gets his hand on it. Most likely a surefire goal there, but not much you can do as a keeper. I think, like I said, if they can pull out a result here, maybe they'll be thanking him, but tough spot for Lapsley, and I'm sure it's not going to be easy after the past couple games with some mistakes, but can't put that all on him.
So now New York Red Bulls 2 will make the substitution. It'll be Alex Bobasia, an academy kid, to come on in place. Well, we'll see who the substitution is actually for, as Lapsley was taken off with a red card. This will be Bobasia's professional soccer debut here for New York Red Bulls 2. Sat on the bench a couple times last year as an academy loanee, as well as this year, but this, his first appearance. And Connor, what a moment to come straight into a game, and you've got a free kick from 20 yards out to face.
Yeah, big moment for him. Obviously, I'm sure he's thrilled to be getting on the field, but trial by fire here.
So New York Red Bulls 2, a man down already at home. Will it be a goal as well? Laid back, Endor with the shot. Bobasia is able to keep it in front of him and does make the save. Alex Bobasia, welcome to the professional soccer ranks.
Good to come in the game, get a big first save, does well, pops out a little bit, but comfortably controlled. So I'm sure he'll be happy, getting that deep breath, that first shot out of the way.
There goes without saying there is no backup goalkeeper now on the bench if something were to happen, which fingers crossed it does not for anyone. But Alex Bobasia now the man in goal for this New York Red Bull 2 side. And I believe it was Sharif J who came off in place of Bobasia. And now for New York, your man down for most, if not all, of this game. Connor, you expect them to just drop someone off the front line. How do you readjust this?
Yeah, it looks like Caden, they moved him out left a little bit. Probably play more of a flat four here. 4-4-1, leave Sebastian up top by himself. But actually now they're shuffling things around. Maybe it'll be Torre over on the left and Caden will move to the right.
One of the things Coach Wolenek had said coming into the game was he wanted to press pretty hard from Torre's side to make the game easier for him at just 16 years old in his first pro start. Now that job's become a lot harder. His responsibilities become a lot more.
Absolutely. Yeah, they try to tailor the tactics toward him, make it easier for him to release. They like to funnel the ball to that side of the field so he can release, knowing that there's help behind him instead of being that weak side midfielder where the job becomes a lot harder, having to tuck in, manage with the player behind you. So the job, like you mentioned, becomes harder.
On the flip side for Loudoun, what do you change now? Do you try and do anything differently?
I think they had a good recipe at the start of this game. I think you don't change much. You keep trying to be aggressive. And I'm sure you're not going to see too much, but maybe using a couple more numbers going forward, knowing that Red Bull's going to be having to move her probably into a deeper block.
You have to think of Mo has that license now as the 8 to get up into the attack, probably the 2 fullbacks as well. We'll see over the coming minutes. We said every time these 2 teams play, something happens. So been a lot of goals. It could still be, but a red card in the 16th minute for Wallace Lapsley, who's had a very tough restart to this season. Now his team will have to go it alone without him. New York Red Bulls 2 will play 10 on 11 for a large stretch of this game. Clark into the feet of Elney.
Good on Elney to draw a foul there. But, yeah, like you mentioned, I think USL fans should be excited. Mark this date on their calendar every year because it turns out to be a soap opera.
You can guarantee it. USL fans also will remember, since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select, the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Edelman and Lemma standing over this one. It'll be Lemma to float it to the far post, and that one goes just a little bit wide. It's a cliche, but it's also somewhat true that often the team that goes man down plays better for a little while. What do you make of that?
I have no idea. Honestly, it's like something in the universe. A little extra motivation for the team with 10, but the team with 11 seems to get a little bit more comfortable, even though it's going to happen. So it's kind of a weird thing in the universe that you can't really explain.
John Tolkien with the interception, giving back away. Mo trying to get by Kilwine. Kilwine able to get it out towards the sideline, keeps it in play into the feet of Edelman. Now Tolkien releases to Lemma. And New York looking to get on the attack here. Down a man, but still tied on goals. Rito out wide for Clark. Clark pulls it back. And no one there to get on the end of it. And knocked away by Savaria. A battle here between Gamble and Rito. And Gamble earns the free kick off of Lemma.
Yeah, Gamble, a player that Coach Martin seems very high on, obviously recruited him to Wake Forest, and he's a very versatile attacking option for this team. They can use him in a lot of different spots, and he brings a lot of the passion that Coach Martin's looking for, and a person they can definitely trust in that starting 11.
Yeah, just 26 years old, but along with Peebo, who isn't starting in this game, but the normal captain for this team, one of the few veterans, quote unquote, as part of this group, was a high draft pick by the New England Revolution in 2016, appeared for the Rochester Rhinos on loan, and spent last year in Chile in the 2nd division, playing in South America.
Yeah, it's an interesting roster makeup for these 2 teams who generally use a lot of the MLS guys. So they build through their academies, they build through younger guys, and so you're kind of stuck in the makeup of your team as it is right now. And so it's going to be a challenge for both Coach Wolnick, Coach Martin, to really use what they have. And so it's going to be definitely a challenge, something that I'm sure will make them better as coaches, using what you have and not relying necessarily on these numbers that are coming down from New York Red Bulls and DC United. So it will definitely makes for an interesting year for them.
Yeah, Donovan Pines and Griffin Yao did not appear for DC United, so they would have been guys playing heavy minutes with this group. Earl Edwards Jr. as well, expected to be a major part of this group. All of them unavailable to Loudoun United, probably for all of 2020. So those plans change, and Sebastian Elney really the only striker on the roster, and he's trying to get it done here. But for New York Red Bulls, too, you thought it would be Matthias Jorgensen or Tom Barlow or Brian White, or the list almost goes on, and none of them are available for this group.
Yeah, and, I think they're thrilled that they can get John Tolkien and Chris Lemma down here, but then, as you mentioned earlier, these guys haven't played games in a long time, so this is almost another preseason for them.
Right.
So they're trying to catch up to the match fitness that a lot of these guys in the league already have. And as much as they do want to be up with the first team, it's going to be tough for them to build this match fitness. And I'm sure it's exciting for them to get games. And so, they'll have to be patient in building that match fitness and continue to get up to the speed of things.
You saw Tolkien there. Made his pro debut last year as an academy loanee. 9 starts, 13 appearances, 3 assists. U.S. Youth International. This is now his third straight start for New York Red Bulls too, as New York draws a free kick.
Great feat there by Caden Clark. One of the qualities that many of the Red Bull 2 fans and New York Red Bull fans are excited about. Does a little 1-2 between the two defenders, draws a foul here, and a good opportunity for Red Bull 2 to have a good chance.
Caden Clark's 2 assists, leading the team right now. The 17-year-old out of Minnesota. He's had some amazing experiences playing soccer overseas, some trials in Europe, as well as some friendlies with the Barcelona Academy. Now we've got Lemma and Elney over this one. Elney to take, hits it through the wall, still alive for New York. Clark gets on it, gets by a defender, pulls it back for Elney, and his shot can't be directed on frame.
Yeah, I think you knew a shot was coming there when Fowler and Kilwine are still back, so, Miller does a good job to parry it away. Caden Clark gets on the end of it. I think he shows his composure to not force a ball in the box to really, Torre was the only one in there, not in a great spot, so he shows his composure to hold on, find Elney, and Elney just can't direct it on frame.
Chance here once again. Torre getting into the box. New York showing a little threat here, playing down a man midway through this first half. If they want to get 3 points, they're going to have to try and find a goal with this man deficit at some point. This gives an opportunity for Loudoun to break. Endor looking for Mustafa. Not able to find him. The bright hair of Endor up top. A turnover now. Gamble in on goal, and Bobasia makes the save.
Big chance there from Loudoun. Starts with Endor trying to play on Mustafa. They play it back to the keeper, and he isn't able to really complete the pass there, and they get a good chance with Gamble. So testy times here for Red Bull 2.
A tackle from Rito. The whistle will go against him. As we said, Alex Bobasia, Red Bull Academy. Loney making his professional soccer debut here off the bench in place of the starter, Wallace Lapsley, going off with a red card. It's been an active first 10 minutes for Bobasia.
Yeah, it's a good save there. Strong hands. Gamble hits it right at him, so it didn't have to do too much. But like you mentioned, it's going to be a trial by fire for him to do here today.
So free kick coming here on the side of the box. All 10 players on the field inside the box to defend for New York Red Bulls too. Hit low, knocked away by Elney. New York will try and clear their lines a little bit here as Green recovers possession for Loudoun. Martinez floats it into Endor. Headed away by Kilwine. The field for Elney. Clark trying to play Torre through. Elney frustrated with the attempt, but you could understand it from Clark. Like the break was on for Torre if he could get it to that side. Green floats a ball into Endor. Kilwine gets a touch to it. Second ball here for Gamble. And Gamble has it knocked away by Fala. Big collision there in midfield. And the foul will go against Cudi Pietro in favor of Edelman. Two 17-year-olds going to battle in midfield.
Absolutely. Yeah, another academy prospect here for Red Bulls too that a lot of people are excited about. Edelman. We talked to Coach Wolonak. A guy he mentioned may not jump off the page at you, but does all the little things right. And for a young professional, a young academy player who's looking to get major minutes with Red Bull 2, I think those are the types of things that can make for a long career.
Lemma turns out of trouble there. Immediately New York going the other way. Rito trying to play it through for Torre. Maybe a little too much on it. Torre gets the cross away, and it goes across the end line.
Yeah, a little too much on that from Rito, even for Torre, who someone with all that pace just couldn't get on the end of it. So if he can't get on the end of it, I don't think many people would have.
So every team allowed 5 substitutions because of the long layoff that we've seen around the world. In 3 stoppages, I have to check. I'm not actually sure if the red card counts as a stoppage used to bring Bobosi in or not, but either way, still 4 subs to use for Coach Wolyniec, so at least in that sense, compared to a normal game when you burn a sub 15 minutes in for a goalkeeper especially, that's not as hard to take, but of course you have to play man down the rest of the game.
Yeah, especially like we mentioned, a lot of guys who might not have major minutes in their legs might be proven very beneficial to have that extra couple subs here tonight.
And Hartford United has to be licking their lips. They've got New York Red Bulls, too, on the docket in 3 days coming up. So you'd love to see a team that has to chase the game for a while and down a man as well coming into that matchup. What a season it's been for Jaidi in his first year at Hartford. They started off, didn't play a game in March, had to wait until the restart. Got a victory against New York Red Bulls 2 here to open the season, and have gone back home. And they have dominated play as this chance falls to Gamble. Those 2 wins over this Loudoun United side, 3-1 and 4-1 at home at Dillon Stadium. And Loudoun's only played 3 games, so they're sitting way behind everyone. But if they won all their games in hand, they would be technically over the playoff line right now. And felt like Coach Martin had that hope and belief and was more focused on, let's get through 1 game here with 3 in the next 8 days.
Yeah, I don't think he was too worried here. Obviously, we got the corner kick. We'll wait and see what happens.
Kudi Pietro's cross is blocked. A battle there. Mustafa tries to stay in possession. Torre with the tackle. It's deemed clean, and then Savaria comes back, and this is what we've seen from these 2 teams. You called it drama. I call it the beautiful game, whatever you want to describe it as we get to our first hydration break of the game. An active first 30 minutes, a red card for New York Red Bulls 2. Chances both ways. You'd have to say the better for Loudoun, probably before the red card even happened. Endor with a few good looks. So Coach Martin has to be happy with what he's seen. How does he crank it up a little bit more with that man advantage for the last 15 minutes?
Yeah, I think you just amplify exactly what you have been doing. Continuing to be aggressive. You know, he mentioned in the pregame talks he was going to try to look to play behind. So I think that's another thing that they're going to look to continue to do, even looking to play behind, even if it's not quite the right ball. It squeaked through before, so continually play that ball, try to test this back line of New York, and really just amplify, like I mentioned, everything that they're doing. Just be a little bit sharper in the final third, and they've had some really good chances here.
Let's take a look again at the red card. The biggest play of this first half. It was a bouncing ball that snuck over the head of Kilwine. And I think we've mentioned a couple times, but Kilwine and Fala playing together for the first time. And you mentioned those balls over the top. They seem to struggle a little bit handling those. And so this ball sneaks over, or in between Kilwine and Fala, and then Lapsley puts his hand on the ball. Clear denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. Endor's in possession. And there's debates out there, and obviously everything's instinct, but in the 15th minute of a game, I think you'd rather be even on men going forward than not down a goal.
Yeah, and time will tell if that was the right decision, like I said. But
now his team's tied.
Yeah, right now it looked like a good decision, but yeah, no complaints except for really Elney on the red card. I think it's, clear denial of a goal scoring opportunity. But, you feel for a guy like Lapsley. Obviously a miscommunication from Kilwine and Fala, put him in a tough predicament, try to make himself big, and it's unfortunate to pick up the red card here.
So a huge moment in this game. Don't forget, of course, USL action continues to roll on. Las Vegas takes center stage August 25th when Lights FC take on Orange County SC on ESPN Deportes. Looking to maintain the pace set in Group B, both the Vegas Lights and Orange County face a must-win on the national stage. Don't miss the drama unfold August 25th at 10 p.m. on ESPN Deportes. ESPN putting out a report that all of the USL Championship content being consumed both digitally and with the record amount that have been on national television between ESPN2, ESPN Deportes, ESPN News. All the ratings are way up, so everyone wanted their soccer back, and we have seen that, and it has been awesome to watch as Frank Yallop leads the Las Vegas Lights in his first season as head coach. One of the legends in the North American soccer game. Knocked away off the foot of Clark. Chance to break through here for Gamble. Closed down by Rito. Now Kudi Pietro on the ball. His ball intercepted by Tolkien. Can Tolkien make something happen here in transition? Ball runs up on him a little into the feet of Torre. Now Torre will slow it down and wait for some teammates. John Tolkien, sweet left foot on the ball, curls it in. Headed away easily by Wheat. And now a little soccer tennis and a chance to break right into the space Tolkien left open for Mustafa. Mustafa infield misses Cudi Pietro. Rito overruns it. Cudi Pietro on the ball. And Rito puts it out, but some chaos on the defensive ranks right now for New York in transition.
Yeah, comes off a transition moment of their own. Loudoun looks good. Loudoun looks sharp. I think, with a little bit more quality there from Mustafa, they could have been in on goal. Just puts it a little bit too far and takes him away from goal. Cudi Pietro does his best to earn a corner here, and they've got another chance.
So Martinez coming over to take this corner kick. He went short to Cudi Pietro on the last opportunity. We'll see what Loudoun can do here off the corner kick. Loudoun looking to take the lead on the road. They go short once again. Try to slip it into Mustafa. Rito intercepts. Battling in the box. Dangerous turnover. Martinez gets a looping ball into the top of the box. Mo able to get possession for his side. Can Loudoun do with this one? New York has all their numbers deep in their own half. Follow with a shoulder into Cudi Pietro. And about 4 or 5 years, 100 pounds, and about 7 inches between the two of them. It was always going to be an easy foul for Cudi Pietro to sell.
Absolutely, yeah. Got the position on Fala, and at that point you can really get away with anything in the corner there.
Joe Fala, college striker, just up the road at Ramapo College. 47 goals and 17 assists in his college career, 2-time All-American. Now transitioning in as a defender for New York Red Bulls too, and we'll have work to do here. Ball's up in the air and knocked down just wide of the far post for a goal kick, maybe the best chance of the game there for Loudoun.
Yeah, it looked like Mo and Dorr both went up for it. Neither were able to direct it on frame, but a great chance there for Loudoun, and they'd been knocking on the door all half.
Alex Bovacia coming on in the 16th minute in place of Wallace Lapsley, the goalkeeper, receiving the red card here early on. Sharif J was actually the player sacrificed from the lineup, subbed off. Bovacia forced to make a save the opening seconds on the field. Had one mistake with the ball at his feet, but otherwise he's had a clean game so far.
Yeah, for a young goalkeeper, that's all you can really ask for. Try to keep your name out of the headlines unless it's big saves, and I think he's done well so far here today. One little hiccup, but so far so good.
Chance here for Gamble to test the young keeper. Trying to find some space. Black shirts in front of him. Edelman closes him down. Still alive off Gamble's body. Cudi Pietro there into the feet of Endor. Follows clearance deflected straight up. Mo trying to set up an acrobatic opportunity, but in the end into the hands of Bovacia.
You love the thought there from him. You could see exactly what he was trying to do, but got disrupted a little bit. There you go. Good first touch, good second touch. Looking like he wanted a little flying scissor there, but Toure was able to break that thing up.
He scored the only 2 goals of the season so far for Loudoun, so he's got the Steph Curry green light from anywhere he wants it.
Absolutely.
Had a good season last year as well. Didamo for this Loudoun team. 4 goals in 14 appearances. It was a slow start for Loudoun. Ryan Martin took over 10 games in, really changed the roster around July and August, bringing in some experienced pieces. We see Wheat in the team here, Endor as well. Mustafa coming in at that point as well. Hunter Gorski, your former teammate, coming in, and The season ended on a 4-game winning streak for Loudoun. They were only 4 points short of the playoff line, which looked unreasonable 2-3 months before, and they're trying to maintain or come off that form here in 2020.
Yeah, definitely. He took over, wanted to boost the culture here and really put his imprint, and he was able to do so, and so kept a lot of the pieces around.
Lemma serves this one in. Miller goes up for it and takes it in traffic. And immediately Colin Miller tries to start the attack. On Mustafa now. 1v1 with Rito as he swaps wings. And Caden Clark helping defensively with 2 big tackles.
I think that's another thing what sets Caden Clark apart from a lot of these young attacking players, that he does it 2 ways, and that's what excites a lot of these people. You know, John mentioned he's very self-motivated. He's very hungry, almost Tyler Adams-esque, which is a very big compliment for anyone coming through this academy, or really any academy kid around the country. So definitely a player, like you mentioned, got a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, but has held up so well and has really been one of the bright spots for this team.
Green's ball floats over the head of everyone. Deflected cross here. Bobasia with the punch. Clark now trying to turn on Green. Green able to read it defensively, but Clark somehow gets the ball back and puts it out for a throw-in. It feels like Clark's defensive responsibilities and abilities are so admired by Coach Wolenek and other coaches as Gamble gets in the box here, that there's an idea that he may not be an attacking pure player in the future at the higher level. He might play a little deeper as a central midfielder, and you could see it. The ground he covers, how smart he is, when to go in on tackles, as well as his ability going forward. I mean, what he's done at the 10 is phenomenal. Imagine if he was coming out of midfield and had more attacking pieces in front of him.
Yeah, you look, he's got a big soccer IQ, you know, knows the game so well. I think one of the things about him that impresses me so much is that he's always looking forward. Receives the ball in traffic, always puts a good first touch on it, always looking forward, looking to make that killer pass. And so, you know, talking with John, you know, he says, is he really a 10? Not quite sure yet. You know, it might be more of an 8, play a little bit deeper like you mentioned. But, you know, at such a young point in his career, you know, I think it'll be good experience for him, test himself at the 10, and then see really where you can really make your money.
Plus, sometimes a Red Bull 10 is a real-world 8.
That's right.
It's kind of the same job at some point. As the first yellow card of the game for Loudoun United is given there to Timothy Mell, the left center back. As Sebastian Elney, like any true captain would, you're a man down. Now every moment becomes a potential red card going forward, just in case Jeremy Shear wants to make that decision.
Yeah, you know, John talks about his you know, his leadership. He's really grown to be one of these leaders of this team, and so you can see him right now really taking this upon himself to be this consistent guy that you don't want out of the lineup, and I think he's really done that. Obviously, he hasn't really filled up a ton of goals. He's had a few so far, but I think that will come more with more clear-cut goal-scoring chances, as Coach Wolenek mentioned, and a little bit more consistency in the final third. But he's been a great leader for this team.
You mentioned this before, but Fala and Kilwine, neither going up for that free kick there. Fala taking it, so safety first right now for New York in the dying moments of this first half. Playing man down here for about the last 25 or so minutes. My math is poor, so 20 or so minutes.
All good.
New York Red Bulls 2. Starting goalkeeper Wallace Lapsley, red carded in the 16th minute for denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, touching the ball with his hand outside the box. Since then, we've had more of the play for Loudoun, but the opportunities have been split both ways. So if you're Coach Wolenek, you got to be happy with the way your team responded.
Yeah, I think you, at this point, you know, if you ever go down early in the first half, you're just trying to get to the locker room. You want to get to halftime. You want to be able to get some switches and the tactical adjustments, and come out in the second half and hope to get some of that 10-man magic.
Endor there goes flying down in a heap as Kilwine puts a hand through his back.
Yeah, he says, Elney, I'll do you one better here.
Endor coming in to start up top for Loudoun United out of Dakar, Senegal. Had 5 goals in 4 appearances last year one of the people who arrived late for Loudoun and gave them that real spark to close out the year on that 4-game winning streak. Left his native Senegal at a young age, played in UAE and Norway, but most recently on the books at MFK Vyskov. There's no reason you should know that name except that like half of this Loudoun team is technically on loan from MFK Vyskov. Believe 3rd division in the Czech Republic. Fun league.
It's a natural transition.
ESPN Plus, I think, may actually have the MFK Vyskov games. Take a look at this free kick here.
Yeah, Kilwine. Look, every defender's dream, be able to put yourself a little elbow through the back of a forward, and Endor does well to feel that contact and go down. You know, like you mentioned before, I think that the natural pipeline from Czech Republic here to the USL, I think there may be some more diamonds in the rough there that maybe some scouts will be looking for, because Endor's had a good run here in the USL. Obviously, you mentioned last year 5 goals. So
Ali Ngazi on the bench right now for Loudoun as well, was on loan with Minnesota United and forward Madison last year, also on loan from MFK Vyskov. And he is a Tanzanian full international at just 19 years old. So a ton of talent and opportunity on the field. Both these teams, as Mustafa sneaks it in there for Kudi Pietro. And his back heel, a great idea, doesn't find a teammate.
Yeah, great vision there from Kudi Pietro. Just put a little bit too much on it. Had a couple runners, but good idea from him.
Mustafa now switching wings for the first time. Finds the feet of Green. Excuse me, it was Martinez coming forward. Final few moments here in what is a minimum of 4 minutes of stoppage time. An eventful first half, opportunities for both these teams, as well as a red card. New York Red Bulls 2. Fala heads that one away. 12 shots combined for these two teams in this opening half. Endor's had a number of those. Elney coming all the way back to help defend. It is all hands on deck defensively here for the home side to try and get to the half. Emma flicks it on for Edelman. Torre trying to help his team relieve the pressure, and New York can't keep possession. What can Savaria do to restart the attack? It's been a quiet night here for Wheat and Mel at center back. Expect it will be going forward. Savaria served up a ball for what may be the best opportunity of the half for either side. Big switch. Mustafa brings it down. His shot is blocked. Too far for Lemma. And Martinez immediately can restart the attack. Loudoun trying to break through here in the dying minutes of this first half to take a lead into halftime. New York doing everything they can to hold on.
If you look at this, Loudoun's got 7 guys on New York's back line. They sense what's coming here. They're trying to grab one before the half.
Gamble back for Savaria. Ball served into the far post. Headed down and just wide of the far post.
Yeah, another good ball in here from Savaria. Finds who other than Amo on the end of it. Just can't direct it on frame, but this is exactly what Coach Martin wants. He wants to push his fullbacks high, get the ball wide, whip the ball in the box to these dangerous attacking options, even some late runs from his deep-lying midfielders. And I think this is exactly, if he had to draw it up, this is exactly how it would want to go. Maybe a couple more goals on the end of it, but I think a good start to his club here.
And as you said, this is the soccer he wants his team to play, only made easier by being man up for such a long stretch. It's been a tough start to the season. It will be a tough run coming up here, as that one's knocked away, a huge interception by Mel. Right in between Elney and Torre. This could be a big opportunity for 3 points for Loudoun. This could put Red Bulls behind the 8 ball in Group F action. Mustafa now 1v1 with Rito. Drops it back for Green. Green finds the feet of Mustafa. Chance to turn in the box here. Falls for Cudi Pietro. He can't get a shot away. He does off the head of Bobasia. And the dying moments of this first half. The academy kid, the homegrown, Cudi Pietro with the opening goal as Loudoun United takes the lead on the road.
Yeah, like we mentioned, they were throwing numbers at this thing. They had 7, 8 guys almost on this back line of New York, and New York looked like they were just trying to hold on to half, get into the locker room. But Cudi Pietro does so well to just really dance his way through the box, be patient, find a little room, little stutter step, puts it on frame, and he can't, Bobasia can't keep it out, gets a hand on it, but is able to squeak through. So I think this is ideal set up first half here for Loudoun. Go one up in the locker room, man up, and I think, New York is going to have to get in that locker room and readjust things, get a break, because you can see some heavy legs out here even already. It's a hot night. Playing a man down, not easy conditions to play in.
It had been coming for a little while. Loudoun pouring on the pressure. Ted Cudi Pietro, an Oaktown, Virginia native, his second career goal of his young professional career, and he gives his team the lead. So Loudoun United on the first half on the road looking for their first win of the season. They are up a man and up a goal against New York Red Bulls 2, who they are undefeated against all time in their club's young history. We've got first half highlights and second half action coming up for you in just a moment here on ESPN Plus as Loudoun gets a goal right in stoppage time of the first half and lead 1-0 on the road.
You spent the past few months taking extra precautions to keep safe. Thank you for that. Now it's time to remember that staying healthy is part of staying safe. At Hackensack Meridian Health, we've taken safety, cleanliness, and screening to new levels of excellence, giving you the peace of mind to return for necessary surgery, emergency treatment, pediatric care, as well as heart and cancer screenings. Our healthcare heroes are ready to care for you.
Was all-wheel drive engaged on that? Didn't feel like it.
Quattro all-wheel drive. There's nothing like it in the universe.
If you want to start something, or make some noise, if you want to change the world, or just how you see it, if you want to light up the dark or own the moment, if you want to stay ahead of the curve or take it right to the edge, there's nothing stopping you.
It's been a while since we shared those last moments at home, and a lot has changed. The world shut down. We found ourselves lost, but we found a way. Our heroes kept us in the game, and our community came together like never before. This beautiful game will continue to provide us the strength to keep moving forward.
The lights are on at Red Bull Arena for Wednesday night USL Championship action. David Goss and Connor Lade with you on the call as the home side New York Red Bulls to a struggle of a first half, an early red card to their starting goalkeeper, and then a late goal gives Loudoun United the lead going into the halftime locker room. Let's take a look back at our star players coming into this game. Connor, we talked about Elvis Amo and him playing deeper in the game, and with the man-up advantage, he's been phenomenal.
Yeah, these deep lying runs here, Amo puts himself in a good spot. Saravia puts in a great ball, and he just is unfortunate not able to put it on frame.
It looked like Amo would be the one to create the breakthrough most of this first half. His 2 goals were the only 2 goals that have been scored all season by Loudoun United, but Cudi Pietro with the goal in the dying moments, that chance looked like it was going to be the one to go in. Gives Loudoun United the 1-0 lead. On the flip side, for Caden Clark, it's been harder than he'd like, playing as the 10, now man down, but he still worked really hard for this team.
Yeah, put in a great ball here to Elney, just miscontrols it a little bit, but I think he's going to be the guy that when you're tired, you win the ball back here, you're going to have to find him. You're going to look for him to spark the attack here, and he's going to be huge if New York wants to stay in this match. So they're going to win it, find Caden Clark, and really see what he can do and maybe spark some of this attack, even though it's going to be tough.
And for New York Red Bulls, our opportunity to get to know sad face emoji Kyle Zayats, the captain of this team, out now, we know, for the season with a foot injury, was the player in this group that has been in the Red Bull family the longest, coming through the academy and now playing a few years at the professional level. Georgetown University grad, where every Red Bull player that's not you has gone in their career, and in a midfield with a lot of other pieces, but he's a huge part of this club.
Yeah, I didn't get the Georgetown memo, but he, such a great kid. He's such a great product for this system, one that they're very proud of, and obviously your hat goes off to him. You hope that he has a speedy recovery, because he's going to be a huge building block for this team moving forward, and hopefully even for the first team later in his career. So I think you're hoping for the best for him, but it's a big loss for this Red Bull 2 team.
Yeah, our thoughts go out to Kyle, and he hopes to see more from his team in the second half. We'll be back just a moment with first half highlights and second half action here on ESPN+.
The USL is proud to bring professional soccer back into our communities and across the ESPN family of networks. Follow your local club and don't miss these exciting matches coming up on ESPN2 or ESPN Deportes.
Dr. George Champus from Northwestern and U.S. Soccer's Chief Medical Officer joins me. The protocols that were created in the case of the USL Championship and USL League One takes well over 50 pages to document. Describe the USL Championship's particular return to play and the role that you played in helping to craft those guidelines.
Yeah, obviously the credit goes to USL. The credit goes to USL, their owners, all the staff, really putting in the work, getting on calls multiple times a week with other leagues, but also recognizing that all the leagues can't be the same, and all recognizing that the elements are different for each of them. And I think it's important to touch on that because it's important for us to be able to create a mitigation strategy, layers of protection that our players are comfortable with, that our public are comfortable with, while respecting the virus. So USL has done a tremendous job. They've invested a lot of time and energy consulting with others to be able to put this forth. Hopefully I was a conduit and someone who provided, that medical expertise and brought everybody together. And if we can all come out of this safe and be able to show a model, not only for sport, but for public, that would be a great outcome.
Getting ready for the second half here at Red Bull Arena. USL Championship action as the USL Championship is starting to get into the roll of things on the restart after the COVID-19 layoff. As you saw there, some of the ideas behind the health protocols. Junior Flemings helping dominate for Phoenix Rising. They were the best team in the regular season last year. A guy you know very well, Connor.
Yeah, Junior, great guy, great person, great player. You're happy to see him doing well. I know a lot of Red Bull fans very familiar with his work, and it was a great servant for this club, and you're always happy to see former players doing well in their next ventures.
Won a regular season and postseason championship with New York Red Bulls, too, trying to do that with Phoenix. See Devin Sandoval winning goal of the week. This is Group F standings, and it's early in the year, but it's a weird season, only 18 games for New York Red Bulls too, you're already starting to look at those playoff spots. Only the top 2 teams will go through, and start to worry on the flip side for Loudoun United. You got so many games in hand. If you can take care of business here, you are off and rolling. Some other action around the USL Championship here tonight. Good late night action. San Diego Loyal against Orange County and Reno against Sacramento. That derby game out in Northern California. And of course, Eastern Conference action going on right now in Atlanta, as well as with Charlotte Independence facing off against the Birmingham Legion. A lot of big games across these groups. These regional rivalries have really been big with this new group setup. Let's take a look at the stats and what you'd expect. Loudoun's dominated possession, dominated shots, and they have the 1 goal.
Yeah, I think Loudoun, from the first whistle, they came out to play. They really had their foot on the gas, and again, for Red Bull 2, another slow start. Had a couple chances, but they're going to look to get in this locker room, regroup, get a couple tactical switches, and try to make a better go at it in this second half. But Loudoun is in the driver's seat in this match.
Loudoun United looking for their first win of the season, and they may not get a better chance to do it. Here on the road, up a man, up a goal as we enter.
If you want to start something or make some noise, if you want to change the world or just how you see it, if you want to light up the dark or own the moment, if you want to stay ahead of the curve or take it right to the edge, there's nothing stopping you.
It's been a while since we shared those last moments at home, and a lot has changed. The world shut down. We found ourselves lost, but we found a way. Our heroes kept us in the game, and our community came together like never before. This beautiful game will continue to provide us the strength to keep moving forward.
USL Championship action on ESPN Plus from Red Bull Arena in Harrison, New Jersey. David Goss and Connor Lade alongside you for this one. We knew coming into this game between the two teams, it was 10-4. Yeah, 10-4 total in goals last year, and it's been an eventful first half this year. Elvis Amo, who we highlighted coming into this game, the most active to get the game started.
Yeah, definitely very active so far here today. Great ball here by Saravia again, and Amo, another incredible run from him. Clearly one of the great attacking weapons for this team, puts himself in a good spot, and I'm sure looking back he'd wish he would have done better there.
Saravia done a good job putting in service from that right back spot. This is the big moment of the first half, or one of two big moments. The header all the way through, Kilwine and Follow don't react, and then Lapsley touches it, and this is clear dog stuff.
Yeah. Two center backs, one thinking one's going to get, the other one thinks the other one's going to get. Miscommunication, and Wallace Lapsley's the victim here. Tries to do his best to stop it, gets the red card, and, young Alex Babocha comes in here and does well to, so far, unlucky, gets his hand on the goal, but, so far so good for him despite the goal.
Babocha there, that was the first moment of his professional soccer career. He had a strong first half, a few saves, but could not keep this one out. as Ted Ku DiPietro, just 17 years old, the Oakton, Virginia native out of the DC United Academy, battling throughout that first half and gets the only goal.
Yeah, Ku DiPietro shows great composure here. Dances a little bit, throws 2 pump fakes, does well to hold off Elney, and is able to sneak one past Babocha. So puts his side up 1-0, and hopefully has another strong second half here for Ryan Martin's side, but we'll see the changes that John Walneck has here.
So you see the schedule coming up for New York Red Bulls, too. They are right back at it on Saturday at Dillon Stadium against Hartford Athletic, and it doesn't get any easier after that. They will play in the Loudoun United's second home game of the season for Loudoun. They just had to wait 8 months for a home game. First, they play at Louisville, the reigning champions, and they play Hartford away one more time, but they do get Pittsburgh at home in the middle of that to finally make their debut at Segra Field. We are ready to kick things off here for the second half. New York Red Bulls, too, playing down a man here, coming into things. Connor, they had a chance to get into the locker room. Devastating, giving up a goal in the moments before. What, if anything, can they adjust here to try and get themselves offensively back into the game?
Yeah, you look, I think the back line's been a little bit disconnected from the front guys. I think they got to tighten things up a little bit. Especially with a man down, your spaces get exposed. So I think they're going to have to tighten things up a little bit, make sure if they are pressing, they're going together, and make sure that they're keeping not big spaces between the two lines.
So Green trying to get the ball going forward quickly. For Loudoun United, it looks like no changes to the side here. Coming out in the second half. It's been a hectic start to the season for them with players unavailable, players out due to quarantine, injury, travel, all these different things. They're starting to get the squad together that they imagined this team would be. Still missing star goalkeeper and Simon Lebofre out of Temple University, 6'9", first-round draft pick that they are very excited about. Some other pieces that they expect to be a major part of this team, but as you said, it didn't have anything to do with the red card. They came out to play. They created chances. They were good on the ball in the first half. Then they got the red card, and then they finally got the goal.
Yeah, it looks like a team that's confident. That they've clearly been waiting to play for a long time, and they've done well to sharpen their tactics coming into this one. What a tackle there.
What a tackle from Mel.
But they came here to play, and it's been an impressive start for them.
New York able to keep the ball alive. The back heel slide tackle at full speed from Mel. A chance here for New York. Lemma down the side, tries to cut it back. Elney with the back heel on goal, and it's saved by Miller.
Good piece of combination play there. Kenny Clark does well. Finds, let's see, I believe it was it wasn't Elney, but they find whoever it was finds Lemma, does well to find Elney, and Elney, resourceful little back heel, almost catches Miller off guard, but he's up to the task.
And Elney 2 goals this season, playing the bulk of minutes at center forward. Hasn't gotten a ton of looks, but if someone's going to get one here for New York Red Bulls too, it likely will be him as Lemma floats this one in. Headed away by Mo. Chance here for Fala, one of the leading scorers in the nation in college, now playing at center back. Pulls that one back. No teammate there, and now Martinez launches the counterattack. Bobachia comes out. Babocha with the ball off his thigh and then puts it out of bounds. Well handled.
Good feet there. Good thigh there. Confident play. You love as a defender when a ball gets played over the top. Your goalie be aggressive there. Comes out, does well. So, a good sign of confidence for him. And I think if you look there at the beginning of that play, in transition, follow up. John mentioned it's going to be a big part of this is going to be the rest defense in there. A big part of that is the goalkeeper being aggressive off his line, so he did well.
Edelman getting a huge test here in central midfield today. Down a man with Clark sort of being pulled out of that spot. Even more work for Lemma and Edelman. And Edelman here in his first year playing professional soccer. Rito comes in field, finds the feet of Clark. Now Lemma into the path of Tolkien. Tolkien with time and space, looking for Elney. Doesn't get enough on that ball.
Yeah, I think it's a sign of life here from Red Bull 2. They're attacking. They're putting numbers forward, which in the first half you saw some tired legs out there and maybe not want to commit too many numbers forward. So good sign of life here from them.
Clark, everything has gone through him here in the second half as the flag goes up against Elney. Clark finding the game here, and that's what we talked about potentially in the first half that we're seeing now at the start of the second.
Yeah, looked like he was looking for Torre there. I thought Elney was going to hold himself, stay offside and just not play the ball. I think Torre was making a run on the backside, but Elney turned and ran in, and you could see, I think that was a sign from Clark. He was looking for Torre. So, again, if they're going to have any chance of getting back in this one, they're probably going to come at the feet of Clark.
This one over the head of that back line on Mustafa. Not able to beat Kilwine, covering for Fala. Edelman can't get to that one. Our goal scorer, Kudi Pietro, on the ball. Gets between the two midfielders. Pushes it wide for Gamble. 1v1 with Tolkien. Gamble comes in field. His shot deflected. And they'll go out for a corner kick.
Good strength there from Kudi DiPietro. Was able to hold off Edelman, who was fighting to get that ball back. Found Gamble, and another good look for Loudoun. We'll take a look at the replay here. Gamble cuts in on that left foot. Tolkien does well to block that, but Loudoun again got a couple chances from Red Bull, but they're back on the front foot here.
Once again, Kudi Pietro and Martinez go to the corner. They've gone short on almost every corner kick so far. Been dangerous offset pieces, though. This one served in, and Babocha comes out and takes it. He wants to restart the attack quickly. Not a ton of options. Torre running down the field. His hand up. Green, the first to that ball. Now it falls in midfield, and Mel goes with the safe option and puts it out.
Yeah, I think Babocha had the right idea there, trying to find Torre on the break. I'm sure Vadim, the goalkeeper coach, might be working on some of these sidewinders here for him because that ball caught a little bit too much air, but good idea from him to try to spring the attack. And good on Torre to really get out and try to create something on his own.
Vadim Krylov and Ibrahim Sakaya have been the assistants for John Wolenek every year as that long shot catches Miller, and he's finally able to get it away via a teammate. And Elney there catching myself and the goalkeeper off guard.
Great strike there from Elney.
What a touch from Clark to go by a defender and can't get his foot around the shot.
Clark does so well there to get around the defender. Just really, I can't even think of the word. I can't think of it either right now. He just lashes at it. That's what I was looking for. You see the strike there from Elney, a little knuckleball. Miller was up to the save. But this is a great sign of life here for New York. You want to see a competitive game. Look like they're back in it. Like we mentioned, through the likes of Clark and Elney, these are the guys that are going to really push them on.
We saw Elney take a free kick earlier in the game. When he catches one, he can really put a charge into the ball. That one's knocked off the foot of Tolkien. Lemma into the feet of Clark. Clark curls one into the box. Miller comes out and bobbles it for a moment, but then in possession.
Yeah, you're seeing some signs of life here. I think the important thing for them as they're moving forward, as they're really pushing the game, is what's being organized behind them, and that's going to fall on Kilwine and Fala, making sure everything's organized, especially being a man down.
The one thing you worry is how much energy does New York have? If you don't get a goal for all of this, how long can this team down a man for what has already been about 30 minutes? How long can they sustain this? Martinez, who got his first start of the season here. Ryan Martin felt like he played really well against New York last year, and him and Garay will be swapping in that number 6 position. So it's Martinez's turn here today. He's been strong. Pressure put on now. Torre trying to get in on goal and get an equalizer for the home side, and knocked away in the end by Wheat.
Yeah, Wheat makes a little error there. Torre is able to strip the ball from him, but he makes a great recovery there. He's able to do enough to force Torre to a tougher angle and gets his foot on the shot there. So unlucky error, but good really recovery from him to thwart a good attack from New York.
Wade started all 7 games he appeared in last year after signing mid-season out of University of Pittsburgh. Corner kick floated to the far post. Miller goes up, and he handles that one very well.
On the flip side, I think that's exactly what you want to see out of Torre. You know, being aggressive, especially defensively. You know he's got some offensive flair, but you really, you know, going to a game where he's starting, you want to see what he can do defensively against the ball, and that's for these New York wingers. They want them to be aggressive. They want to get after defenders and make them make mistakes, and I think that's exactly what they're looking for there.
You'd expect at some point in this game that Jake LaCava would come on for New York. He's been a spark plug, earned the penalty to win the game against Pittsburgh about a week or so ago as the first substitution coming here for Loudoun United. It'll be Massimo Farine to come on. Josh Fawoli and Brandon Williamson prepared to come on as well. So we'll see how many of them come at the same time. So Massimo Farine comes on in place of Michael Gamble, a like-for-like change. Farine, a dangerous winger out of Mississauga, Ontario, and played at UAB as well as Syracuse, where every Canadian seems to play their college soccer now. Josh Fawoli coming on, a graduate of Loyola University, was New York Red Bull 2 central midfielder Barry Sharifi's teammate there, and that's where Alex Bobocha is actually committed to go after he plays professional soccer and goes to college, because that's the thing you can do now, which is pretty good. So that's the end of the night for Endor. And now Brandon Williamson, the DC United Academy and Duke graduate, will come on in place of the goal scorer in Ku DiPietro. So 3 changes here for Loudoun. You have to say Ku DiPietro, the goal, but Endor was really dangerous and impressive throughout this game.
Yeah, Endor was a problem for the back line really all night. You know, has a big physical presence there, but also can hurt you going behind. Drew the red card, so a big effort from him tonight.
Well, Mo going to work against the defenders. Josh Fawoli, a draft pick 4. DC United, signed to a Loudoun United contract, a player Coach Martin was very excited to have back. Had only played about 30 minutes so far this season. So there's a good chunk of time for him to get his legs under him in this second half. And for Loudoun, you can maybe see Coach Martin recognizing the flow of this game and trying to change it up.
Yeah, you see New York getting a little bit of momentum here, so
good battle between Elney and Green. And Mel so calm once again.
Dream for a center back there, show off some of the skills. Great work from Mel there to throw Elney off and retain possession. But yeah, I think it's I think you could see the momentum swinging a little bit, and he made some changes, and hopefully that can breathe new life into his team and sustain some of that first half and beginning of the second half momentum.
So Jake LaCava and Barry Sharifi have their jerseys on. If I was a betting man, I would say Edelman and Torre there.
We'll see.
I'm putting it out into the ether,
we'll
so
see.
That way it'll be wrong. I don't know. Who knows? But LaCava has been phenomenal so far this season. He's been one of the bright spots.
Yeah, you figure this is a game that sets up well for LaCava. You know, I think John mentioned he was really surprised and taken back by his pace and power. I think that's one thing that was very attractive of him as a player, but he didn't realize the scope of it. So I think this is a game that sets up very well, a game where you can try to hurt them in transition. And so I think it sets up perfectly for him. And Sharifi, I think it will bring him in, try to settle things out in the middle. Also, you know, a guy that does really well on second balls, wins balls back. And so I think could be 2 good subs for this Red Bull 2 team.
That one just over the head of Fawoli. And, of course, for both teams, they've got a game in 3 days. So even if you like what's out there, for these coaches, you got to try and manage over the course of those 2 games. For Loudoun, they've got a 3rd game in the next 8 days coming up in the middle of next week. New York at least gets a little bit of a break after that weekend matchup against Hartford. As Rito now cuts inside. That was part of the reason that Pibu Du didn't get the start here. The captain, the 28-year-old, the real veteran in this group just because he's got to sit some game and play some game.
Yeah.
So it might as well happen today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, especially looking up at the table at Pittsburgh and Hartford, both teams really riding a high right now. Every game is important, and you're playing these games. It seems like you're playing these teams almost every week. So, getting different looks, getting different guys in here. Every game's important. So, fresh legs will definitely benefit everyone involved.
So it's Caden Clark and Sebastian Elney coming off as Coach Wolonek spits in my attempt to try and make sense of anything that's going to go on the field, and fair enough to him. So LaCava coming on.
I guess it's a good thing you're not a betting man, right?
Never. I would never even dream to do such a thing. And a yellow card coming here for Amo. Just the second yellow card of the game. The red card, of course, in the 15th minute to Wallace Lapsley for New York. Matthew Mel picking up a yellow card late in the first half, and now Elvis Amo picking up a yellow card here for Loudoun United. And big opportunity off the set piece coming here for New York, as every chance they get to push any numbers forward is a big opportunity.
And again, interesting that they're not pushing up following Kilwine, yet they're looking to put this ball in the box. So they're looking probably towards LaCava or Torre. You figured they were going to play, and they played, because I don't know if they like their chances 2v4. So I don't know if they were fooling anyone there.
Rito there. Can't get by Green, who's been stout defensively for the young academy players. Torre looks to turn. Williamson clearing it away. Edelman under pressure. And well by him, not so much by Kilwine. And now the break is on the other way, and Tolkien reads it well, closes it down, and does eventually earn the foul.
Yeah, good recovery there from Tolkien. Kilwine caught out of position. Not actually caught out of position, just doesn't complete the pass and is caught out of position by after the fact. So Tolkien does a good job of recovery, comes over, bails his fellow defender out.
Kilwine had a similar play in the goal for Philadelphia to win the game. A little bit of a mistake, caught himself stepping forward, and through ball went right past him. And a chance there for Philly, who took advantage and got the 3-2 win. It was the Philadelphia Union 2's first win in 18 months. So congratulations to Marlon LeBlanc, who got the job an hour before the game and did a lot with it. Big fan of Marlon LeBlanc, longtime coach of West Virginia, one of the good soccer people in the United States, so excited for him. Coach Ray Gaddis at West Virginia. I bring up Ray Gaddis any chance I get, and I just got a chance. Nailed it.
I mean, I don't know if you want to bring, Ray Gaddis is obviously in another Peebo Dewey here tonight.
Yeah.
Another West Virginia alum. So, I mean, a lot of good soccer players coming out of the West Virginia.
Which is not a thing anyone thought they'd ever say before. We're living in a whole new world of soccer in America and Canada, and it is awesome. Fans, don't forget, you can try and keep up with all this soccer by following New York Red Bulls 2 and Loudoun United, as well as the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, UFC, and more. Join the nearly 8 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+, and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. It is the best thing that I pay for. You get so much soccer. We got the English Championship playoffs last week going on. Bundesliga, of course, coming in the fall. So your one-stop shop. Yep. Either way, Torre on the break. We get to the stuff that I understand a little bit better. So Barry Sharifi coming off the bench with LaCava. Sharifi, as I mentioned, a Loyola graduate from Long Island, out of the New York Red Bull Academy, did not get a homegrown deal, was then drafted this year by New York Red Bulls, spent some time with the first team in Florida, and now has been one of the mainstays in midfield for New York Red Bulls 2 to start this young season. And LaCava and Torre trying to make something happen. Green steps up and knocks it away. Feels like as the second half's gone along, Green's gotten stronger and stronger on that Loudoun back line.
Yeah, Green's put in a really good performance so far. He's been tough in the tackle, has done well getting forward, putting a couple good balls in the box. Again, another example there. Very impressed with what he's put forward tonight.
And there's going to be so much space for Loudoun to play in when they turn New York over. Can they take advantage, though, and put this game to bed? Mustafa's cross hits a body. Two referees standing right over it. And our head official right on top of that one. And an easy call in the end for Jeremy Shear.
Yeah, we'll take a look at this, but I think Mustafa was, I don't know if he was shooting, crossing, it looks like a shot. Handball from Tolkien there. He's unlucky trying to block the shot. As a fellow outside back, I feel for him. You know, obviously no bias being that he's a Chatham kid, my neighbor, but tough moment there. Obviously, it's a handball, but
you got to tip your cap to the ref. Jeremy Shear took his time. His linesman had a better angle, spoke to each other, and then made the call. Elvis Amo has already scored 1 penalty kick this season, sitting on 2 goals, trying to double the lead for Loudoun. Bobocha has already made a huge play in his pro debut. Can he do it again? Amo steps into it and buries the penalty to the left side as Loudoun United takes a 2-goal lead here on the road.
Great penalty there from Amo. Cool, calm, composed. Waited for Bobocha to make his move and just slots it in. Shows his quality and why he's a big player for this Loudoun club. Gets his 3rd goal here on the season.
Gets Bobocha going the wrong way. The slow steps forward and then buries the penalty. Calmly done. And we said coming into this game, Loudoun felt like this was a good matchup. They felt like this was a good group for them, the best they've had so far. Of course, the early red card helps, but they created that red card, the way they came out and played this game. And not over yet, but 2-0 lead, big for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Ryan Martin, his first full year with this team, you can see that he's really put his print on this team. He's got them playing a good quality, and the proof is in the pudding here. They came ready to play here, and I think it's big things to come for them. And I think for Red Bull too, another disappointing goal to give away, and makes this game trying to get back into even harder. Man down, 2 goals down.
So Elvis Amo, that's his last action of the night, gets his goal, subbed out. Jeremy Garay comes on, just 17 years old, but more of a pure defensive midfielder to help see this game out in midfield alongside Williamson and Martinez with a 2-goal lead and a man up. And Amo came as advertised. Coach Martin said we'd see the best of him not playing as a center forward, which isn't his natural position, and I think that was true. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, even some of the, obviously fills up the highlight reel, but a lot of the stuff that he did tonight, you might not see in the highlights. He, was good against the ball, a good commitment. Every time the ball turned over, he was sprinting back, so that's exactly what you want in your deep line midfielders, your 8s. Be dynamic going forward, but work against the ball, and he did all that tonight.
A chance to open up the legs here for Mustafa. 1v1 with Tolkien. Once again, Kilwine comes over to help and just gets a touch to it as Mustafa was about to round him. A chance for Loudoun to recycle possession here. New York falls into a deep block defensively. New York came out of the halftime locker room flying after conceding in the 49th minute. Didn't have that final touch to it. And Loudoun, that penalty kick against the run of play, but it felt like it was always coming potentially.
Yeah, obviously for New York, they would have hoped to get one early in the second half when they did have the momentum. And like you mentioned, they got caught in transition. If you turn the ball over, you got to be organized behind the ball. And I think for the most part they were. And handballs are kind of one of those fluky things that happen throughout the match. But it's deflating nonetheless for this team. And they're going to need a little bit of magic here to get back in this one.
Unsure if Rito was shown a yellow card there. Looked like he got a little bit of jersey in his hand at one point at the end of that play. Farine and Garay, the 2 substitutes standing over this one. And they go short here. 2v1 against Torre. Garay, part of a very good DC United Academy midfield Brian Kao, who's now signed with Wolfsburg. His teammate, as well as Kevin Paredes, who's playing with DC United throughout the MLS's back tournament. Not a bad way to get your feet wet, and probably not a bad way to play against other youth sides. That's a pretty dominating group.
Absolutely. I think a lot of these guys are very familiar with each other, too, on the field, so always adds to make things interesting because these two academies are very proud, and they've had a lot of battles here over the years.
DC maybe have been the most successful team in terms of the homegrowns they've produced. Maybe not so much now, but Andy Nahar, Bill Hamid, some good names that have come through the DC United Academy, and of course for New York, Tyler Adams, one of the biggest names, but Connor Lay, the biggest name to come out of the academy. Chance here, and Tolkien in the right spot at the right time. Fawoli now trying to line up the defender, and Tolkien recovers somehow.
Wow. Nice little trickery there from Fawoli, and Tolkien looks like he might have caught a little elbow or maybe an arm in the face, but does so well to recover.
A lot of excitement around this young man. As well as a few of the other pieces on the field for Loudoun United and DC United. Of course, Griffin Yao made his pro debut with Loudoun last year, stepping in for DC. It'll be Garay to take this corner kick. A chance at the far post, but Bocha, the initial save, lost it, and fortunate to see it fall to a teammate.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most creative passes you'll see from a goalkeeper to Tolkien there, but Bocha just lost it, and a little knee pass to Tolkien. Tolkien clears it.
It's been interesting to see for Tolkien. High expectations for him. One of the, I'd say, higher-rated academy players since Tyler. One of the big question marks was his athleticism, but in a very open game here today, he's shown that he can at least read the game enough, but I think can keep up physically to, in transition to make those big runs to catch up to some of the quicker players like Mustafa.
Yeah, they've had a couple foot races here today. I think he's held up well. For him, like you mentioned, questions about athleticism. I think he, proved a couple of those here tonight. Showed good speed, good recovery speed, which is massive for an outside back. And like you said, a player that Red Bull fans think has a big future ahead of him.
Came in as just a 16-year-old last year. Showed his quality on the ball, serving assists from the left back spot. Has played a little at defensive mid as well. Still a question mark what his best position will be, but it seems like for now they've landed on left back.
Yeah, having played with him, he's in preseason with us, and just very impressed with how he carries himself. Obviously, he's one of those rookies that came in and is just a good teammate. And like you mentioned, has a very smooth left foot. So I think it's an easy thing to say that he would be good in left foot or good in left back with such quality that he can provide in final third.
Two historic academies in the U.S. for New York Red Bulls and DC United / Loudoun United. And don't forget the USL's elite pre-professional platform, USL Academy, allows clubs across the USL to build a pathway to pro soccer by bringing together top local youth talent. Following the success of the first Academy Cup events, clubs can now apply to participate in the USL Academy League, kicking off in spring 2021. For more information, visit usl-academy.com or search hashtag USL Academy on social media. Louisville City making their first ever Academy signing. You've seen Hartford, even in their short time, sign some good local young talent. San Antonio, of course, has done very well, and Brian Kao going over to Orange County before he made his way to Wolfsburg. So a lot of exciting stuff going on. The youth ranks across the USL. Two more subs coming here. It'll be Joe Fala as well as John Tolkien to come off. The final subs of the game for Coach Wolonek. Samad Boontang coming on, as well as Bo Cummins. Cummins, normally a fullback, can play on either side, but it looks like he will slot in at center back in place of Fala.
Yeah, I think it's preserving a little legs. I think maybe for Fala, See how Boateng is coming into this next game. And something for this young man that I like to see, an outside back playing center back. Something that, I like out of my outside backs, a little bit of versatility. So we'll see how Bo Cummings does. Maybe adds another dimension to his game, another position that he can play.
All he needs is the cutback to put the shot in the top corner from 30 yards out to get the full Connor Lade hat trick in this one. As once again, Mustafa, a threat down the wing. Gets by Kilwine, can't keep his feet, but what an exciting young player in Mustafa for this Loudoun team. A youth national team player for Niger. Not one of the common soccer powerhouses, but helped them make their first U17 World Cup appearance in 2017. Followed that up with a goal and an assist in U20 African Nations Cup qualifying, and has been everything that Loudoun has needed here tonight.
Yeah, it's been really a spark in this attack. Very dynamic going forward. Looks smooth on the ball 1v1. Obviously draws the penalty on a shot from a tough angle. I think that's probably one of the best things you can hope for, taking a shot from a best angle, maybe drawing a penalty. So I think he's done a lot right here tonight, and a player that these Loudoun fans can be very excited about.
For Loudoun, test gets a little harder this weekend, going to Lynn Family Stadium, playing the defending USL Eastern Conference champions in Louisville City. Looks like it's a free kick coming here for New York. Once again, it'll be a center back to take it for New York. As we have a hydration break coming up because it's 175 degrees here. Connor, if you're Coach Wolenek in this hydration break, how do you style your messaging? You're only down 2-0, but you're down a man, 15 minutes left. How do you get across your message? What is your message?
Yeah, I think you just got to keep pushing here. I think even off this free kick, I like to see some numbers put in the box, try to grab a goal here. This game isn't over. You'd seen crazier things happen here than, a man down, 2 goals down. So you can see him in there really talking tactics with Jake LaCava and this squad. I think he's one of the guys that you want to see what you can get out of him, push things in transition, but really just go after it. At this point, you're two goals down, you're a man down, and so what else can you do but go after it?
And on the flip side for Loudoun, you got to love what you've done, but you said crazier things have happened. You cannot slip up now. And for Coach Martin, he's brought a lot of young players, especially into central midfield. How do you keep them focused when it feels like New York has lost a little bit of their energy?
Yeah, I feel like this is where you rely on your experienced vets with a lot of young guys around you, guys who have been here before, been in these conditions. And so you can see them talking, you can see them strategizing now. Just try to finish this game off, not do anything crazy, just play solid. And even if you can look to counter New York's counterattacks, even try to get another one and really put this thing to bed.
Well, we hope all of you out there are staying hydrated as well. Take your hydration breaks along with the players. We thank you all for joining us for this one. David Goss and Connor Lade with you on ESPN Plus for USL Championship action in Group F. And it's an odd year for everyone and everything around the world, so the USL creating small regional groups to keep games manageable, 18 games for every team. The top 2 teams in Group F will move on to the postseason in October. And we have our fingers crossed it is an easier world to deal with in October, but there is no way to know, so everyone make sure to wear your mask at all times. New York Red Bulls 2 go short here on the free kick. Down a man since the 15th minute, a red card to Wallace Lapsley, the starting goalkeeper. 49th minute goal and first half stoppage time for Loudoun United's young Ted Cu-Di-Pietro. And a penalty kick about 5 minutes ago from Elvis Amo. The highlights so far in this game, New York trying to get halfway back. LaCava pushes it wide for the center back, Kilwine, who gets into the box. A chance and puts it past the goalie. What a goal for the starting center back in Preston Kilwine. A tussle after the goal to get possession of the ball. But the first career pro soccer goal for Preston Kilwine, and you see what it means to that young man.
What a goal from Preston Kilwine here. Does so well. LaCava gets it, lays it off to him. Two defenders around him, just a little dink between them, gets it on his preferred left foot and just puts it in the back of the net. And great ball from a center back. Great goal from anyone, but from a center back no less. That's one you dream about, and New York is back in this game. Torres down after this play. There's a little scuffle afterwards, so you're hoping that he's okay, but New York is right back in this game. That's exactly what we talked about. Crazier things have happened.
No subs left for New York, as Torres is still down back behind the play, but we talked about it in the hydration break. Some young players brought into midfield. It was Garay coming over to Shade to help when you had a little bit more experience in there with Amo before, and Savaria, who's a young guy as well, and Kilwine just too easily gets between them.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a sin for defenders or even any players. When you're 2v1, you're trying not to make a mistake there, especially for a young player. You don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to take a guy down in the box, and so you can get a little bit passive, but that was much too passive from the defenders there. Let Kilwine in very easily. Even though it was a great touch from him, it was too easy from them. But, yeah, New York's back in this game, and we're going to have a little bit more drama in this series.
New York Red Bulls, too, at home to Loudoun United. Down a man and now down a goal, but halfway back. Is there enough left in this team to get all the way back and save themselves some blemishes at home? LaCava peeling off, 1v1 with Wheat, tries to get inside and knocked away. And that time Saravia makes the play, coming over to help.
Huge play there by Saravia. Jake LaCava does so well here. Barry Sharifi sets him up, spins out of traffic, and just scoops a little through ball to him. And Jake LaCava does what he does best. He gets his pace, gets his power, and sets up an offensive opportunity. Just gives a little bit too much of the ball away and is unable to get a shot on net.
Can the home team make the pressure count here? Lemma serves it in, over the head of Boontong. Cummins follows this one up, hits it hard, knocked away in the box. Back to the feet of Lemma. Lemma clips another ball to the far post. Torres header into the arms of Colin Miller.
New York's pressing. I mean, you see what one goal can do, even for a 10-man team, 2 goals down. So this is going to be an interesting last 10 or so minutes. It's, what did we say? This series has got to be marked down on the calendar, this game, for USL fans. And so should be interesting.
It makes sense. They dislike each other at the MLS level. They dislike each other at the MLS Academy level. So why not at the USL Championship level as well? And I got to say, Connor, there's no fans in the stadium, but you felt the atmosphere when the penalty kick went in as Mustafa chases this one down and Babocha gets there. You felt loud and feel relaxed, and now you can feel the tense energy going even without fans.
Yeah, you can feel the tenseness, obviously, from Loudoun, especially with a young group. And, or on the other end, New York, you can feel the lift. It almost doesn't even look like they're playing a man down now. It's that classic 10 men playing like 11 right now, or even 12 sometimes.
Rito flying up the middle. If you want to see good soccer, don't forget Las Vegas Lights FC take on Orange County SC on ESPN Deportes on August 25th. Looking to maintain the pace set in Group B right now out west. Both the Vegas Lights and Orange County in a must-win game on the national stage. Don't miss the drama unfold as the last sub of the game for these two teams. It is Peebo Dewey to come on, the captain of this team at 28 years old, the true veteran, and you expected that this would be the sub to try and see this one out. And we'll see if he slides back to fullback or plays outside, but what a game from Mustafa.
Yeah, Mustafa was electric tonight. Really did so much right, and even more by taking a little bit of time off the clock by slowing down, getting off the field. But I think this is an expected sub from Ryan Martin, getting Peebo Dewey on the field. Your captain, your experienced guy in here, and try to settle things down and see this game out.
And Dewey immediately steps on the field, and he's talking to his teammates, spacing, trying to get them a little bit closer to him as this ball goes in. LaCava and Torre, neither of them really true traditional nines. Torre's played there a bit. Those two running that front line up top in the place of Sebastian Elney.
can definitely feel a rivalry brewing here. There's a lot of shouts after these fouls. I think there's some. They're really getting behind this New York DC rivalry. So.
And now, Loudoun United forced to defend as Kilwine comes forward to bring a little size for this set piece, and Lemma will serve it in. Lemma with the armband on, floats it to the far post. Knocked away, big win there by Saravia. Boontang's second ball is deflected. Saravia saves it from a corner kick and keeps it in play. Fantastic series there from the young fullback. Williamson thought there was a handball there on Kilwine. Our head official Jeremy Shear waves play on. And Arito curls that one in. Does New York have one more moment of magic left in them? It has been the toughest of weeks we've seen for John Wolynek. A 3-2 loss in Philadelphia, a 4-1 battering in Pittsburgh. And currently trailing 2-1 at home, down a man for what in the end will be 75 minutes of play as Himo Dewey right on the field picks up a yellow card, true veteran move. And a dangerous free kick coming here for the home side.
Yeah, Torrey does well to get the ball turned away and really put the ball out of his reach where he sensed the tackles coming and to draw a foul there. You know, really gives New York a great opportunity here to get an equalizer.
And we've seen Torrey go down just a few moments ago already. His first career start, he's only played combined 47 minutes of professional soccer at 16 years old coming into this game. He'll go a full 90, most of it down a man, and a lot of it at center forward, which isn't his natural position. In this one, I have to say, altogether, a strong day for him.
Absolutely, yeah. This is a guy that there's a lot of youth there. Definitely an unfinished product, but these are the type of moments, these are the types of games that build you as a player. You know, you put in hard moments, put in moments where maybe you wouldn't necessarily be put to succeed, but make the most of it, and that's what he's done here tonight. And obviously draws another foul here, and we'll see what New York can do with it. But a very good performance from here tonight in his first start.
He seems to have really understood when to push, when to hold back, when to wait for his teammates. And now is the time to push, as Lemma and Rito are the two standing over this one. All 11 players are back in the box to defend here for Loudoun. Come-in's about 5 yards behind that ball. The deepest field player for New York. This is a huge chance. You'd expect Lemma, to try and drive this one across the face of goal and have someone take a touch?
Yeah, just fire something across, hopefully get a little deflection here.
Rito runs over it. Lemma with the shot, and it's just wide of the near post.
Totally opposite of what we said.
Yeah.
Lemma, you know, he's got that dangerous left foot. I think tries to catch Miller leaning a little bit. I think it was a good effort from him. Unlucky not to put one on frame, but New York is going to be pushing here, and I think if you're John Wolynek, you're pushing your team on because you can smell that there's a little bit left here. There's maybe another chance to get an equalizer.
Can Loudoun put this one to bed? They've had a number of opportunities on the break here in the second half. That final touch has only been there on the penalty kick play. I tell you, from our angle, Chris Lemma had me fooled. I thought that was in.
Yeah, I was waiting to hear it hit the back of the net there, but yeah, it was a little bit wider than we thought.
As the offside flag goes up against Dewey, and the shot from Fawoli didn't count. And then, of course, I didn't hear the whistle. But if you hit it that clean, you got to let someone, right? If someone lines it up and they're going to hit it that clean, that's just like the love of the game at some point.
Yeah, I think especially, you're now tied for your all-time appearances. I don't think a lot of people are going to be telling him not to, especially with a lot of young guys on the field. It's going to be hard talking to
16-year-old Torrey comes back.
Exactly. But, that's the kind of thing I think you like around here. Red Bull likes to let these young guys speak their mind. So, I'm sure they wouldn't mind if someone gave them a little earful.
Rito to throw this one in. Dying moments of this one. Can't say it enough times. 16th minute red card for Lapsley. Changed everything in this one. Cu Di Pietro with the breakthrough. 4 minutes into first half stoppage time. A gut punch to the home team. A huge moment for Loudoun, yet New York came out and responded in the second half off the opening whistle. They had chances within 30 seconds. They poured it on the first 10, 15 minutes, and then they give up the penalty kick in the 65th minute. Mo puts it home, and that seemed to be the end of it until Kilwine came out of the hydration break. I think he drank Mike's magic stuff because he was ready to roll.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a talking point for New York. You know, putting yourself in holes again with a if it's not
third
a goal,
straight game.
If it's not a goal, it's a red card. And so you've seen it here before. I think obviously with a young group, you know there's going to be mistakes, and it's just how can you limit those. And so that's going to be a big talking point, I'm sure, for John and his team and the whole staff. So I think you know, obviously you love to see the fight back, but you would hate to see it too little, too late. You want to see that a little bit earlier, and when you're not fighting against down a man and down some goals.
For Coach Martin, if his team can see this one out, as Dewey gets this one in, and Fawoli's shot saved by Babocha. A point-blank opportunity there for Fawoli to open his professional soccer account. A lot of yelling between these two sides. Cummins here trying to get around Fawoli, and he does. I was going to say for Ryan Martin, this could be the perfect opportunity. You get a win, which you need, but coaches love to have mistakes they can coach off of because young guys have to listen. And this is almost one of those times where they got the 3 points. That's huge. You can build off that. But you can also say, look, we didn't do everything right. We didn't close this out the way we wanted to.
Absolutely. And, you know, for a guy who's so familiar with these players, I'm sure there's a comfort to teaching them. You know, he's been teaching them for a lot of these guys for years. So I'm sure this is one that, you know, when all things don't go right, it's good to get out of there with 3 points. And that's a dream for any coach when your team isn't playing great. Just get 3 points any way you can. If it is ugly, you got to learn how to win ugly.
Well, it is not over yet. A minimum of 5 minutes of stoppage time here at Red Bull Arena. New York Red Bulls 2 hosting Loudoun United for the first of what will be 3 matchups this year in what is the newly formed season in Group F play. And the rivalry between these two sides is only going to get better. It has been a feisty affair between these two teams. A red card, some back and forth action. Now 4 yellow cards shown between the two teams. And we've had it all in this one. Do we have a dramatic twist, though, in these final seconds? And official Jeremy Shear, 2 huge decisions in this game, the red card and the penalty kick. He got them both spot on. He handled them perfectly. You didn't hear any complaints, well, except for Sebastian Elney. Outside of that, Rito with the long throw in. One again by Green. And a foul will go against Cummins here. A huge moment for Loudoun to release the pressure.
Yeah, they'll be looking to their veterans here to kill this game off. Teach these young guys how to properly kill a game off, because especially when your back's against the wall.
Martinez floats it down to Fawoli, drops it back for Dewey. Williamson off the bench in that central midfield has some good energy still in his legs. Since the goal, New York's been a little bit dead. Kilwine with the mistake. And Jeremy Shear waves play on. It looked like that might be it. Penalty kick coming for Loudoun, but Jeremy Shear waves play through.
I guess for a guy who's made the 2 right decisions tonight, I guess you got to take his word from it. From up here, looked like Kilwine was wrong-footed, you know, lunged in a little bit. Looked like a possible pen from up here, but we'll take his word for it, and we'll have to see on replay if it looked otherwise.
And you could see both Kilwine being in the wrong, but maybe in the end, Farine going down a little soft. Looked like he got the backs of his legs. That looks like a penalty to me.
Not sure. Yeah, I think we're going to have to enhance and see if there was some contact. But, yeah, it looks like it could have gone either way.
Well, we just said it's been an eventful game for our center referee. He's got a few minutes left to see. It's been feisty between these two teams. I don't really think there's anything he could have done about that. These teams just seem to be out. for blood against each other at times. It's been eventful. It's been fun. 2-1 lead for Loudoun here. Up a man, can they hang on? On the road, they have to play their first 7 games of the season on the road before they finally get home to Segra Field, the brand new stadium they put together last year. This would be a huge 3 points to get out of it. There's the mistake, and maybe just not enough in it for New York to get that one more opportunity.
Yeah, I think you're seeing the effects of playing a man down for 90-plus minutes now. When you need to really just push the game along, there's some heavy legs out there, and not everyone's on the same page, and you're just doing all you can to get back into this game.
Bobocha, his professional debut, called into action for a free kick from 20 yards away, off the bench, out of nowhere in the first half from a red card. Made that save. Nothing he could do about the 2 goals that did occur, so a good afternoon, a good night for Alex Bobocha. His family's going to be very excited. I butchered his last name in the first half, so they'll be upset about that, and I don't blame them as a person whose last name can be pronounced gas sometimes and not gas. But I just want to say it wasn't my fault, so I take no blame. Yeah. And here continues to pop off, and Preston Kilwine will pick up a yellow card to go along with his goal.
Yep, another yellow card, icing on the cake for this match. More time for Loudoun to really kill this game off. I'm sure that we'll be laying there for a little bit, and we got 2 guys down here now. You know, we'll see if there's anything left after the restart on this one, but it's definitely been an exciting one here.
Yeah, and it's been fun. It's been the last 20 minutes may be different, but the first half, the soccer Loudoun came out and played is exactly what they want to be known for, the way they see the game, the way Coach Martin sees the game, and that for people who have been stuck inside, can't play, can't be a team, to finally get that experience, I think no matter what would have been big, but the 3 points also helps.
Yeah, it's got to be rewarding for him as a coach. As you see this replay, Kilwine, he got a 2-for-1 there, a little elbow and then a kick there. So I think 2-for-1 special for the center back. But yeah, it's got to be definitely rewarding for Coach Martin. Come out here and we'll see if they can finish out these 3 points. But after a long drought without play, it's definitely a good feeling for his side.
Loudoun United will head to Louisville on Saturday and then come home to play Pittsburgh next Wednesday in what is a difficult week, but could be a dream start to it for them as Edelman goes wide and New York Red Bulls too try and ruin it in the dying moments here for Loudoun United. Big switch to Torre. He brings it down, but straight into the path of Green, and the final whistle goes. A 16th-minute red card for New York Red Bulls too. A goal deep in first half stoppage time for Ku DiPietro, and eventually the winner off a penalty in the 65th minute, but a strong performance throughout for Loudoun United.
Very strong performance for Loudoun. New York will walk out here with another defeat that they'll be disappointed about, but it just goes to show that in this Group F, there is no easy game here. It's going to be tough games throughout, and seeing each other multiple times is going to prove to be a challenging test for these coaches, and Loudoun came out on top tonight and well-deserved.
It was an eventful one for everyone, the referee, the players, but when these 2 teams get together, it has been fun. 10 goals last year in the 2 games combined for Loudoun United, and a victory here in this one against New York Red Bulls 2, once again for their first win of the season. We'll be back with post-game coverage in just a moment here on ESPN+.
Eagle, go. Kickoff, go. FIL, go. Go. GPS, go. 15 seconds. Guidance, switch to internal.
Come on, hurry up. All systems go.
5, 4, 3.
Audi e-tron, the next frontier of electric.
It's been a while since we shared those last moments at home, and a lot has changed. The world shut down. We found ourselves lost, but we found a way. Our heroes kept us in the game, and our community came together like never before. This beautiful game will continue to provide us the strength to keep moving forward.
New Jersey has been friendly to Loudoun United in the past, and it continues in 2020. The first win of the season for Loudoun United, a 2-1 victory over New York Red Bulls 2 at Red Bull Arena. David Goss and Connor Lade with you here on ESPN+. Connor, final thoughts?
Yeah, Loudoun came out, stuck to their game plan, stuck to exactly the way Ryan Martin wanted them to play, and they came out of here with a result. Another disappointing result for Red Bull 2, but it doesn't get easier after this, so they're going to look to try to right the ship here. Obviously, it's good to see the fight after going down, but a little too late getting stuck on that one. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from this.
Huge weekend for these two teams. Loudoun United travels to Louisville. New York Red Bulls 2 travel to Hartford for a Group F matchup that could mean a lot in the standings going forward. Well, for everyone at our broadcast, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here tonight. For myself, David Goss, and Connor Lade, have a great night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.